Maydwell in 5 is a weekly microlearning podcast hosted by Jonathan Maydwell, a learning and development strategist with over 15 years of experience helping people and organizations grow. Each 5-minute episode explores one focused idea across learning, leadership, and human growth, blending real stories, reflection, and actionable insight. Rooted in the belief that learning is about coming home to yourself, the show invites listeners to pause, think, and reconnect with purpose, people, and data that actually matters. It's a space for curiosity, clarity, and continuous growth, one reflection at a time. In my first years as an elementary teacher, I began noticing a subtle shift in the classroom. Students who normally raised their hands started to hesitate. Questions slowed and curiosity gave way to caution. At first, it was easy to miss. Classrooms are busy places. But over time, the pattern became clearer. Fear had entered the room. Many students were unsure of themselves, some worried about giving the wrong answer. Others pulled back because they did not want a mistake to become public. Participation declined, not because they stopped caring, but because they no longer felt safe enough to try. That moment taught me something important about learning. Encouragement matters, but by itself, it is not always enough. People always need to know that vulnerability will not be met with embarrassment or judgment. Years later, I began seeing the same pattern in organizations. Professionals do not raise their hands the way students do, but fear still shows up. It appears as silence in meetings, hesitation to challenge an idea, or reluctance to offer feedback that could improve the work. When fear goes unspoken, participation narrows. When participation narrows, learning does too. When people begin to feel safe, something shifts. Questions return. Ideas start to surface. More honest conversations become possible. Psychological safety creates the conditions for learning. Still, safety is not the end of the story. Leadership has to help people move from safety to contribution. That is the real turning point. When people trust the environment around them, they begin to speak more clearly. They challenge assumptions more thoughtfully, take ownership more willingly, and they experiment more openly. This is where growth begins to compound. Empathy is what opens the door. Contribution is what moves the team forward. One leadership practice I come back to often is grounded in my framework. Clarity leads to reflection, and reflection leads to growth. Start with clarity. Make the purpose of the work visible. Help people understand what matters, why it matters, and how their contribution connects to something larger. Then, create space for reflection. Ask questions that invite perspective instead of performance. Rather than asking, "Does everyone agree?" you might ask, "What perspective are we missing?" Finally, support growth through contribution. Acknowledge thoughtful questions. Recognize ideas in progress. Reinforce that participation matters even before an answer is fully formed. Over time, trust deepens, dialogue improves, and growth becomes something people build together. Take a moment this week to notice your environment. Where might people be holding back? What conversation feels quieter than it should? Then, ask one question that makes room for contribution. Sometimes leadership begins there, not with having the perfect answer, but with creating the space for someone else to enter the conversation. If this reflection resonated with you, share the episode with a colleague or bring the question to your team. This has been your Maydwell in 5 for the week of March 16th. Let's keep building learning cultures that grow with purpose, are guided by people, and are informed by data.